Good morning, LL. What's good with it? One day away from our big announcement tomorrow. Don't forget, 10:30 a.m. Big announcement coming up. LL Nation doing big things. I'm Sean Davis. Lucky Lefty podcast brought to you by the Onora Boys and Onora Whisky, OnoraWhisky.com. It's that premium American whiskey, OnoraWhisky.com. And if you drink, make sure that you drink responsibly, because Onora Whisky is the perfect way and the perfect nightcap to a Notre Dame W. You might as well grab some. Marcus Freeman does. Onora Whisky. Malik will be along shortly. I just don't want you guys waiting, man. It just doesn't sit well with me. And so I always just choose to go ahead and jump in and just wait until he comes on. But on today's show, we're going to get right to it. We're going to talk about a new 2023 wide receiver, Taishan Lyons. Before you guys ask, it might be in response to what the staff has been dealing with the back and forth with Ronan Hanafan. And maybe Taishan Lyons, coming to the fold, 3-star out of California. We'll talk about that. Double down. What's up with it?
Yeah.
Good.
We here, baby. We here.
So that's my guy, the original Lucky Lefty himself, a.k.a. Lefty, a.k.a. Lucky, a.k.a. Leak, a.k.a. Big Leak, a.k.a. Hollywood. That's that cat, Hollywood. L's been talking about today. They calling you Hollywood, bro.
Man, it's baby wood. I got baby duty in the morning.
Man, I don't miss those days at all. I'll leave it. I don't miss those days at all, dude. Let me tell you something. I never forget, my daughter she wasn't a baby, but she was still in preschool, daycare. And my wife just left, man, and went on vacation, went to Houston to see her girl. Like, man, look, I need a couple of days. I'm going out of town. Cool, no problem. You know me, I'm like, man, my baby girl's my ride or die anyway. Man, go ahead. Bro, let me tell you something. I forgot the fact that she was a girl and I had to do hair. I might have created the worst hairstyle in the history of mankind, bro.
Really?
The worst. Because in my mind, I was trying to give her like the ponytail, not the ponytail, but the two little. I had it figured out, but the execution was horrible. It was horrible. It was horrible. So thank goodness her godmother stays 5 minutes away. So I just drove over to her godmother's house before I took her to school, and she got it right.
It was better in your head than it was in the real life. you saw how it was going down. He's like, okay, I like da. And you looked at it. He's like, not exactly how I was envisioning it.
No. I have some intel concerning Ohio State too that we're gonna drop towards the end of the show. Some intel regarding Ohio State, man. Things are not looking as good as they might think. We've had a lot of Ohio State fans jump in lately on the podcast.
We like that. We
had a couple last night, and they were hella cool. Last night. Jumped in, shared some laughs. It's going to be a fantastic.
See, everybody's cool. They cool because they think they're going to win.
Oh yeah.
So it's like they try to quote unquote let us down easy. Mm-hmm. Oh, you guys have been doing great. Marcus Freeman, he's one of our own. It's gonna be a great showdown. But they're really thinking like, oh, we're gonna put 40 on these guys. And I just don't see that happening.
I don't see it. No, Lucky Lefty podcast. So let's get to it. Last night we talked about the special teams and gave you an update from the practices. We still didn't get Malik's top 5 all-time Notre Dame players. We do know that Quentin Nelson made the top 5. We know that.
Oh yeah, he was definitely in there. Definitely in there. No, and for without even thinking about it, had to throw Q in there because it wouldn't make my list right. Wouldn't make it right if he wasn't in there.
And you know, me being the longtime Notre Dame fan, I had to have some old school mixed in with, you know, a little bit of the host era. You know, I had to do it right. But I have no problem with anyone. I think that's what sparked it. Like when we really started talking about Manti Te'o, and it was like, you know what? I'm not mad if anyone has Manti in their top 5 all time. Like I'm just mad. Somebody gave me a tough question last night. They gave me Manti, Jalen, and Maris. Start, bench, cut. And I was like,
Manti, Maris, and who?
Manti, Jalen, and Maris. The cut was easy.
Start Jalen, cut Maris, and bench Manti. Easy.
Yes.
Like that's an easy one.
But my initial response was start Manti, bench Jalen, cut Maris. And I couldn't do it. It lasted about maybe 30 seconds and I had to change it.
Listen, Jalen Smith at Notre Dame, in my opinion, was the greatest player on defense that I've seen. And damn near just being on the same team.
Now,
my favorite player.
You know you're making a controversial statement right now. You know
I was there. I was there. I was there for 2 of my top 5.
This is going to be all over the place by the end of the day. So you're saying Jalen Smith is the best defensive player to ever play in Notre Dame?
Yeah. From somebody that was there. Now, there's a lot of players that you can give that credit to because Notre Dame has produced a lot of great players.
Mm-hmm.
But from just my personal experience, I just think that Jalen, talent-wise, from start to finish, without the injury at the end, top 3 player at Notre Dame of all time, but my favorite player at Notre Dame in Notre Dame history.
So I know you got Jalen, you got Quentin.
Q, Jalen. Got to throw Joe in there. Tim Brown. And that last one is just, man. It's just really hard because I want to throw so many people in there. I want to throw a lot of people in.
I get
so
it.
I got to come down. I got to think about my 5th one. But we're just thinking on impact and just.
I did everything. I included impact, numbers, just ability, everything.
Okay, well, Manti's got to be in there just because of everything included. From before he got into school to when he got there and the importance of him coming there to where he took us and where he almost went himself. In terms of winning the Heisman. I mean, if he would have racked up the Heisman and we won a championship, he had to have been the best player ever at Notre Dame.
Look,
he won the Heisman and the championship in 2012. He would have had to be. Yeah. And the girlfriend?
You said
Oh, yeah.
We appreciate Kitchen Accomplished with C.L. Austin. He wants to know where he can get the whiskey. He's in South Bend, bro.
Oh, man. Listen, the whiskey will be done a month from today. We had to do a new product line, some huge developments on that end. The website's going to be back up, but I will keep you guys posted on how soon it'll be restocked, and we'll get it out there.
And it was available pretty much at all of the liquor stores. I know close to the stadium.
Yeah, it was available for a while. Right now, they're not. Like I said, we just putting some more product on the line, and then we're gonna have it out for the season. So we really getting ready for the season coming up real soon.
That's funny. We had that conversation with Eric Hansen and a couple of guys when we were down there for the spring game, talking about what's coming with the whiskey and the double barrel and the aged whiskey and different things. So, yeah, lock in, guys. It's a lot coming up with Onora whiskey. So let's get into it. Look, bro, it's a new 23 recruit being forecasted for Notre Dame, right? And a lot of people are connecting it to the recruitment of Ronan Hanafan, who has been waffling back and forth between Notre Dame and Clemson and continues to do so. Some crystal balls went the way of Clemson earlier in the week, and now, Notre Dame offers this young man on the 9th, and literally the next day, he's crystal ball for Notre Dame. And I'm talking about, why I like this kid. I like this kid because of his name, bro. His name is Taishan. Taishan Lyons, out of California, bro. Tennyson High School, Hayward, California. How far is Hayward from you? Is that Northern California?
Let me check the little maps real quick. Hayward.
That's a town I haven't heard of.
Yeah,
Anybody in LL know?
That's northern. That's Northern California.
Yeah,
that's like
Alameda County. Yeah, East Bay.
Yeah, so you up there. You Marcus Peters area up there.
Marcus Peters area. So once again, they go to the Bay Area. We already got Rico Flores from up north in California. We go right back to get this kid, and bro, we can go ahead and check out his film, and you tell me, because I already know what jumped out to me in his film, but you can go ahead and let me know what you think about this young man. 31 catches, 30 yards per 31 catches, 955 yards, 1,420 total yards, 23 total touchdowns. Just crazy stats. This kid, talk to me, bro. Up top.
Man, first of all, got some good productive numbers, meaning he's getting yards after the catch. And that's what you want to see for a guy to be as quick on the ground coming from the air and that quick twitch. It's going to be challenging for defenders to judge his speed because, usually they look at him and be like, okay, they can adjust to a guy. But when he's running at you and then the separation he has, it reminds you a lot of like how Will Fuller was, where he'll be right there. And next thing you know, he's about 3 or 4 feet from you. And you like, how did he? I was just there. And that's the what do you say, the deceptive speed of a guy like this. And a lot of it comes too because you have long strides. So when you have long strides, you have a consistency to have that illusion of I'm running, but I'm really not running. And I think that's what, you look at a guy like this and you can get excited because once again, you're seeing him in different spots on the field. You're seeing him at kick return. You're seeing him play at the inside receiver, the outside receiver, single receiver side. So he's doing a lot of things that you can show on tape that it's like, okay, if he's not in one place, we can throw him in another and still get everybody we want on the field. A utility guy that Tommy Reese, likes to see, like it seems like he likes to build utility guys around the tight end base of the offense. Guys like this is going to fit well with the guys around him in the room. And that's something that's important too. When you're recruiting, you want to get a guy that fits with the room vibe that can also push the room, but not be a distraction within the room. So you look at his film and you're thinking, oh, this is just like Rico Flores. This is just like Jordan Grayhouse. This is just like, the guys that we've been recruiting. So the standard of athleticism that you're seeing from guys like this, along with a separation, you really can't get much better than that because for Tyler Buckner, those are the 2 things you're going to need most. You're going to need separation this season and next season, and you're also going to need some big playmaking ability. And for guys to be able to catch screens and not be one-dimensional and still take it to the house, this is all you can ask for, because now not only are we throwing it deep, we can throw it short. We can hand it off. We can kick it to you. We can put you in the slot. We can do some trick stuff. So with guys like this, man, it's just important for how are we going to be able to put this, right? How are we going to put this all together?
Bro, he lost his shoe on this play, bro.
Lost his shoe and it didn't affect the play. And you're looking at this, you're like, he doesn't look that fast. It's a lot of guys like, man, he doesn't look like a burner. But when you get in there and you realize, okay, not only can he create separation, but he's hard to bring down. Guys just pulling on him, making guys miss. He's juiced up after the play. And a lot of what we had before at Notre Dame were guys that were catch tackle guys. Guys make a catch, do a little dip, get tackled. Guys that we recruiting in 23, 24, and some of the guys we have now, they might catch it, make a dude miss, make another guy miss, dude from behind jump on his back, and he carry him about 3 more yards. Those are the type of exciting plays that makes Notre Dame fans come to games and not sell their tickets to the opposing fans. Them the type of players that, that gain and garner the late night spots and the game day spots that we have, like against Ohio State. And it's something that that we're making as a factory at Notre Dame. We're producing talent. Yeah. Everybody wants to talk about the quarterback position, yeah. But at every other position, we're getting some guys that's entering the draft and putting their names in awards for the end of the season.
He is currently ranked, according to 24/7 Sports, as a 51st ranked wide receiver in the 23 class. Some people have him as a 4-star. He's a 3-star in 24/7, and he's ranked 424th nationally. Now you ask, why is Notre Dame going after this kid? And I say, somebody pretty much put them up on this kid. Someone built relationships in that area that got them to have an opportunity to bring Rico Flores to Notre Dame. Someone mentioned them. And here is the kicker. If he does commit to Notre Dame, they would be stealing him from Washington. And what's the connection? The guy that was thought as the lead candidate for the wide receiver coach position at Notre Dame, Jamarcus Shepard, that basically said no to Notre Dame and chose Washington, is about to lose one of his top guys that was a heavy lean towards his program to Chancey Stuckey, who eventually got the job at Notre Dame. It's like Chancey is coming in and stealing them late in the process. And, it is absolutely crazy. And that's it. That was the next thing I was going to say. He has family on the roster. He is related to Tariq Bracey as well.
And we know about Tariq Bracey. This is breakout year.
Yeah, and it's not like, that's cool that he's related, but I doubt very seriously that Tariq was like, yo, y'all need to check out. And,
yeah, it ain't.
It doesn't work like that.
It don't work like that.
No, it doesn't work like that. Someone else.
You gotta put your resume in.
Yeah, and building relationships is what allows you to be put up on a young man. And when you talked about his film, I didn't want to say it, bro. But the first time I looked at his film, I said, oh, he moves like Will. And I stopped short of that. You say Will Fuller, the Notre Dame fans, they can get sensitive, like, hey, relax.
Will's special now.
I'm glad you said it before I brought it up. His movements, just the way he runs his routes and how quick his feet, get him in and out of his breaks and how he can go catch the ball and immediately get yards after the catch. You start to see that, and like you said, it doesn't look like he's running fast. But when you see how quick he gets up on people and gets the separation, look, I think it's the second highlight. He ran the out and up. That was one of
the accelerations. That was Will's biggest trait.
Absolutely.
You'd be like, damn, you'd be like, all right, he running with him. And then he'd be like, oh, he running.
Right. And then, like you said, this is something, look, we said this now for probably the last 3 to 4 guys that have committed to the 23 class. It's almost like Notre Dame is planning to play positionless football. They're finding guys that can jet sweep, screen, across the middle, deep routes. Like, whatever position, like you are a receiver. You're not an X. You're not this. You're not that. You're a receiver. You're a playmaker. And we're just going to put playmakers on the field and let the defense figure out how they're going to stop us. I like how they're finishing this class. Because a lot of people were worried about Hanafan and Jeremiah Love. Jeremiah Love, in my opinion, I believe he eventually chooses Notre Dame. Samuel and Pemba goes into the fall. But getting a kid like this, just like Will Fuller, right? Not ranked highly, kind of later in the process. Because Will was what? At one time, he was a Penn State
3-star. At one time, Will was a 3-star.
And he was like a heavy lean to like Penn State,
Penn
if I'm not
State.
mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he comes in for the visit late. You host him along with a few other guys. He ends up in Notre Dame. Same thing with this young man. He comes in late, has a connection. They win him over. And if he commits, we might have, we know we have another playmaker. Whether or not he's the next Will Fuller remains to be seen. But you have to be happy with them being able to identify a guy like this and to go and get him.
Yeah, I mean, and the best part about it is that we actually have the coaching that can make it work. It's one thing to get the player, but to make it work is a whole nother thing. So I think the development of what Chancey Stuckey brings in that room excites the recruits enough to do things like steal him from Washington, because I'm sure the kid probably really loved Washington because of the coach. And for Chancey to have a bigger influence shows a lot, and I think it's going to carry us so far away.
Yeah, so I love the way he spells Sean in his name, because he spells it with a U.
That's
I
right.
always love seeing that.
That's
like,
right.
Oh, he spells his name like me. So that's Taishan Lyons.
Got smart parents.
Absolutely. It just flows better. Flows better, man. I always thought U was for the male, W was for the female with Sean's, but hey. Lucky Lefty podcast. So yeah, Will was committed to Penn State at one time. So
at one time.
Yeah. Irish mom, the little big house hater. I love that. The little big house hater. As a player, Malik, did you notice the opposing fan base when our fickle fan base sold their tickets to them?
Fortunately, we always played in some pretty tight games, or games where it was usually filled up regardless of home or away.
Mm-hmm.
So the fans was always just an exciting thing to play with in front of a lot of people for us. Obviously, we would enjoy it to be us more times than not, but I wouldn't say it played a factor. Like, we never really went into games other than the old Florida State game. We was like, man, these fans might, really make it hard for us. And so outside of that game, and maybe the Michigan game where it was like the most people ever at a game type of deal, those may be the only two situations where I figured, okay, they played a factor.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I mean, we love what the fans bring when it's the majority of fans at home. But even when it's not the case, the opposing fans don't play a factor to where it affects our play, even if it's at home.
That's interesting. So it was kind of, I guess in that 15 season, it really wouldn't have been like that because you guys were rolling.
Oh, yeah, it wouldn't have.
But the next season when you guys struggled at some point.
Yeah, like when Michigan State came, it was a little crazy because it was a tight game, and Michigan State was pretty deep, and just from the circumstances, it was a little tough at home. But other than that, I think we did pretty well.
Yeah. So we'll move on from that. We're going to talk about the three most important players on each side of the ball. You want me to jump it off, bro?
Let's get to it.
I mean, it's Tyler Buckner's pretty easy, right? That's pretty easy. If we're going to be honest, like his success plays a major role in how far this team goes and where they go this season. I don't know if I would rank him as number one.
He's one, if not two.
I would agree with that. But I'm going to go Tyler Buckner. Then I'm going to go Jaden Thomas. I was going to go Lorenzo Styles Jr. But I feel like I think him and Michael Mayer are dogs. I already know that. Right? Number 3 for me is absolutely Michael Mayer. Let me tell you why. He's been fantastic, but he has to be better. Like if Notre Dame is going to be a college football playoff team and win a game and get to that championship game, Michael Mayer has to be better than he's been. And he's been absolutely fantastic.
Him and Foskey have the same thing going on.
Yeah.
Both great players. Look at the stats. You go, oh, okay. But they're not or haven't been a big enough game-changing, dominant player on the field.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, man, they're a reason why they win. Big part of it. But when it comes to wrecking the game, where it's like, oh, that's just too good too many times, damn well, we got him and you don't.
Yeah.
There's not enough of those moments from guys that are that good, which we expect them to be, you know. I think Foskey coming back, a 20-sack season is a game-changing, dominant number that can affect the whole season.
Yeah.
The 15, 13, 14 sacks he had last year? What was it? That won't even be good enough.
No, I need minimum 15 from him. I need him to just be dominant. Like 2 a game. Type
20 sacks in a season.
Oh man, you trying to go big Will numbers now.
But Will is that guy on the other side of football. Okay, he's a problem. He might mess around and just blow up the whole game plan we've been practicing all week.
Right.
Foskey, we want that from him. But that's a 20-sack season.
Mm-hmm.
Statistically, if we just talk about numbers, 20 sacks is getting done what we're talking about. The 14 that he got is great. But that's not – I wouldn't come back for that. If you're going to put those numbers up again, I wouldn't come back. I'll be like, look, I maxed out. 14 is great. But 20, yeah, you sitting in some good rooms at the end of the season. We in the playoffs for sure. For sure. Because any way you split it, 20 sacks, however you filter it out, is a good season. You changing the game in some way. That's why we need him. And Michael Mayer is the same thing. Michael Mayer has great numbers, bunch of receptions, looks the part, Captain America, all that. But there's times in the game where he'll drop a ball in a big-ass moment.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll be making plays all other times of the game.
You know what? That is the next step, bro. Making the plays, making the big plays in big games and big moments. That's the next step.
That's it.
Because Michael Mayer, he gets loose every first half. First half, he gets loose. Like, you know, the key touchdown against Toledo late.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a big play. But that Oklahoma State game, you have to make that play down the side.
Just got to. That's where we expect you to be. That's just where it is for you. or you shouldn't have came back.
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
like it's almost more pressure for y'all too because y'all got to play not beyond y'all means, necessarily, but it was so good that repeating it wouldn't be good enough.
That's facts.
And so that's where the pressure is for them as opposed to a Tyler Buckner where we just need you to just play consistent.
Man.
We just we just need you to be our ace in the hole. We can close our eyes and think and know that you're gonna get us there. You may not have to make all the big plays that you got Styles for, Michael Mayer for, Jaden Thomas. You got the running back. You got all them people to make the amazing play. You can make some too. But when it comes to 3rd and 4 on the 50 going in, we need you to complete that pass. And we don't care if they blitz it. That's what he got to be good at. So um, I think that the point of it is Michael Mayer and Falsky are in a different tier of expectations for this year and of a different importance to each side of football that's different than the other nominees this year. But we know that without any of them, it all can't work. Right? Without that 20 sacks, it don't matter what the secondary is doing. When we're saying winning it all.
Yeah.
I mean, unless Cam Hart, have a Deion Sanders year or something crazy. But we saying just clearly affecting the season. Falsky and 20 sacks and Michael Mayer with touchdowns. Like if he had 3 touchdowns versus Ohio State, that's what we're talking about. Not 3 touchdowns versus Cal, not 3 touchdowns versus Marshall, 3 touchdowns versus Ohio State. And you may have the same numbers as last year, Michael Mayer, but let those numbers be in the games that we all know really matter. Let you put up 11 catches for 180, 2 touchdowns versus Alabama or Ohio State.
Yeah.
That's when people are like, oh, we got Michael Mayer. When you get at the draft, as if y'all came out last year, it's like, oh, it's a great talent. They show your highlights, you crushing a Purdue guy out of bounds or one hand in a dude in West Virginia against West Virginia, something. But if they put one of them highlights of you tossing Will Anderson out of bounds or something, or something crazy, now you top 5. That's just how it can happen for you. So that's what it takes.
So look, that's my top 3 are most important on offense. For you, I went Jaden Thomas, Tyler Buckner, Michael Mayer. What's your top 3?
Tyler Buckner, Jayton Thomas. I already talked about Michael Mayer. My 3rd one, though, is going to be Logan Diggs. I think Logan Diggs is going to be important because Logan Diggs is what makes the running back room dangerous. If it was without Logan Diggs, you'd be like, okay, they're good. They got Aldridge, they got Chris Tyree. But Logan Diggs is that extra heavyweight that you can throw out there. That's a backbreaker. He's the backbreaker of the room. Because you can hit him with an Aldridge all game. You can hit him with Chris Tyree all game. But that Logan Diggs piece, what are you going to do with that? You're not trying to tackle that all game. He's that in between the Chris Tyree and Aldridge that you need to make the running back room so fitting for what we want to do in terms of physicality and running that football. And him in there healthy, he doesn't have to have the most carries, but his carries are going to be important to stimulating that offensive energy in terms of getting late in the run game. Because Aldridge can't do it all. I think him and Logan Diggs, that combo with Chris Tyree is just going to be real deadly. But without him, I think it'll just look a lot harder for us to run the football because you're going to be like, man, you feel like something's going to be missing. Logan Diggs is the missing piece in that running back room, and I think he's going to have a big year in a smaller role, but a better role.
You go L Boogie. All right. Yeah, I can see why you would put him at third. Let us know, LL Nation, your top 3 most important offensive players going into the 22 season. Defense. You want to go first on this one? You already started with Foskey, so
defense, Prince Collie.
mm,
I got
PK.
Jay and Mickey as my second one.
Mm.
And I got Justin Adamiola as my third one.
Jason or Justin?
What did I say? Justin. Oh, no.
Jason is the big dog.
Jason. Yeah. What did I say? Justin? I said Jason.
Yeah, you said Justin.
Jason.
So you got Adamiola, Mickey, and PK. I'm going to. Well, you already had Foskey, so you got Foskey, PK, and Mickey. You got 4.
Foskey's we already know about Foskey.
So you're just gonna he's just the obvious, but
he's that him and Michael Mayer at a tier where it's like without them doing what they're supposed to do,
yeah,
we have no chance of winning the championship.
Number 1 for me, the difference between Notre Dame being really good and being dominant, and we saw this from another team that I don't even respect enough to call their name, but they just happen to be in the state of Michigan. And we just happen to take their legacy quarterback in 24 in our class. I need the bookend. You already talked about Foskey. If we get double digits from Riley Mills, my man, if we get double digit sacks from Riley Mills, it's a problem. It's a problem. That right there will turn. Now you have your answer to Will Anderson and Dallas Turner. Like all good teams have bookends, right? Especially great defenses. That's what Georgia had last year, right? That's how Travon Walker ended up being, in the top of the draft, out of nowhere. That's what they have. Nolan Smith coming back off the edge. So, and Jalen Carter in the middle. So I'm going to go Riley Mills number 1 because I think he gives this defense the ability to be elite if he gets to the level of double digits. I truly believe that. Now, I might steal a page out of your book because when you said it, I thought about it. And not for the reason that he has to be the top guy, but the emergence of Jaden Mickey is going to be vitally important, especially with the different looks that Notre Dame wants to give offenses, right? Jaden Mickey's going to play game 1. Game 1. And he's going to have to match up. And he's going to be in the slot. Heck, he might end up, next to Smith, across from Smith and Jigba on a play, working in the slot. But he is so versatile, so much of a dog. Every rep he has against a wide receiver, even if they make a play, he's right there. Now, we've heard that before, right? In Notre Dame history, your boy Nick Coleman. Like, dude,
Mr. Right there. That's
always right there.
Mr. Right there.
Mr. Right there. So we're gonna have to get Nick on one day to talk about.
You would think he had the speed, he had the technique, he had a little bit of size, and played it right most of the time. Just couldn't ever. Like dudes would be making extremely tough catches, and it would look like I think it was his reaction to them catching it would be like it would be him so lost, like I can't believe he's doing this. Like I have no way to stop it. Like, but he would be right there though. That would just be.
He looks up and the ball just happens to come over the back of his helmet.
Skims his helmet, and the dude just catches it right in his face mask and rips it. And he just falls or something crazy like. Oh man, Mr. Right there, classic moments.
Yeah, so I totally understand why Jade Mickey for you is number two, but for me, look, I can't avoid. He was important last year. He's important this year. Maris Leofow in the middle of that defense. You saw the difference last year. And I thought, as I said before, the linebacking core, not expected to play as many plays. Injuries happen to him and Botello. And the next thing you know, these guys step up. And I think that experience is going to allow the Notre Dame linebacking core to be very deep this year. Very deep this year. To whereas if you have an injury, you're not even worried about who's starting the next week. You're like, okay, cool. If we lose someone and Prince Colley's the starter, oh, we good.
Yeah, we good.
Let's roll.
Yeah, and I really do think that Maris being there is definitely what we need.
Yeah.
But because of the depth of linebacking core, we're almost okay in a sense. If he goes down to a freak injury, I think a lot of Maris like a Drew Tranquil.
Mm-hmm.
Drew Tranquil, when he first came in, was a very, very solid piece.
Yeah.
Goes through back-to-back crazy injuries. It's great to see him playing now in the league, but injuries where you would think, all right, he's pretty much done. 3 ACLs, a bunch of different stuff. But during that absence where we thought, okay, Drew missing is going to be huge, guys behind him was really stepping up and became great players as well. So we're at a point with our recruiting to where you can throw a couple of these young guys out in the case that maybe Maris need a break or something maybe crazy happen. But the best part though is that you can throw a young guy out and not miss too much of a stride. One of them young guys can mess around and make a play. So I do think the security in that linebacking room is there. But Marist on the field and the right combination with guys with Al Golden, you're putting together something really, 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 really special out there.
And Al Golden's impact, once again, just the nuances of the game is one of those things. And I said it yesterday or last night. Ben Morrison is going to play 4 games. Even if they decide to redshirt him, he's going to get action. But he's going to work his way into the rotation, right? This is why I would say the first month is vital for someone like Clarence Lewis. Vital, right? Because the schedule is not even really, week 1, he's going to face some tough receivers.
Well, shoot, week 3 he's gonna face some. Week 3 he's gonna face some tough competition because Cal's throwing it. So we need to see Clarence Lewis challenged.
That's true.
It ain't even about the level of competition. We need to see him get some balls thrown his way.
Yeah.
I don't care if it was a Tulane receiver. Shout out Lawrence Keys. I know he's gonna have a big season this year. Shout out my dog Lawrence. But it don't matter. We need the balls to be thrown his way, and we need to see his reaction to it to determine if he got better than last year. We ain't saying he got to lock up in Jigba Smith because it's a hard thing to do.
Right.
But if you can get a couple PBUs, make it tough for a guy to just keep throwing it over there, then we'll be happy with your progression.
I'm cool with just winning the 50-50s.
Win the 50-50, yeah.
Win the 50-50s.
Yeah. That's all. Don't have it be because we see the ball go up on TV and be like, oh God.
Yeah.
Oh God, here we go.
Right.
That's what that ball to fly out of the TV screen. You're like, oh man.
Dude. When you see the ball go up to that side and you're like, come on.
And you just see it's just 2 guys running. You don't see no help coming, nothing. You just see 2 guys running. You're like, oh man.
Yeah. That was pretty much the second half of the Fiesta Bowl. That's really what it was.
Because it's been the history of that for us.
You talk about
some unfortunate, like the Clemson game. We weren't better than them plays away. where he caught the two T. Higgins bombs that caught from Trevor Lawrence. It was like, we just, what you gonna do with that?
Oh man, lucky podcast. So I go Maris, I go Riley. I understand Mickey. And the reason why I say, your boy C. Lou better get it right early. Forget Morrison. Ryan Barnes is on that tail.
That's right.
Ryan Barnes and Philip Riley, they might be a step behind right now.
They may be a step behind.
But they coming for that. They coming for that.
They're not sleeping on you guys.
No. It would be real easy for me to put number 16 at number 3. I've talked ad nauseum about his importance being the glue on the back end and how he's going to allow everybody else to play better. Not as talented as the safety that he's replacing. That's debatable. However, his presence and his ability to bring everybody together, I think they're going to play better as a unit.
Yeah, I think unit play is overall
absolutely
because of depth and talent.
Yes,
at the young guy position.
Yeah,
the competition level is there. The versatility is there. So from a unit to unit play, we went from like let's say a B minus to a minus.
Yeah.
On just raising the level of play, raising the program, raising the recruiting, raising, in all aspects.
Yeah.
So I think now we this is what Marcus Freeman would have wanted the team to look like at the Fiesta Bowl. I think we're getting to see what that vision will be like for the first game.
So my third one is Tariq Bracey. Let me tell you why. Depth, number one. And most of our depth at defensive back is really on the outside. Guys that can play the outside. Jaden Mickey and Tariq Bracey are really the guys that are really good at playing that slot. Right? I don't want to put all of that pressure on Mickey early. I need Tariq Bracey to be healthy. I need him to be healthy because let's say Cam gets hurt. Tariq can go outside. And then Jaden Mickey can come inside.
Right.
C. Lou gets hurt. Tariq can go outside if you want to move him. And Jaden Mickey can go inside. But if you lose Tariq in that middle, in the slot, now you're down to really just Jaden Mickey, a true freshman, being your slot guy.
Yeah.
And
because you can't really put Ryan Phillips in that position.
Right.
Really
Ryan Barnes.
Ryan Barnes. You can't put Ben Morrison in there because they're big guys.
But Ben Morrison is somebody that might have that ability, but he wasn't an early enrollee. So he's being caught up. He's catching up to the playbook, right? So maybe by week 4, he might be ready. But the blessing in that is, and I don't like this, you can take Brandon Joseph, and he can be in certain packages. He can be that slot guy to cover, right? If you don't want to put Jaden there for the entirety of the game, if you want to give him 40, 50 snaps, you can use Brandon Joseph in other packages. Kind of the way they use Kyle.
Right.
They use Kyle in the slot. For me, Tariq Bracey is really important. It's important that he stays healthy. It's important that he continues to progress in that slot position and get better, because I think he showed over the last 5 to 6 weeks of last season that, he's found his spot. He's found his spot. And you saw him start off in the slot against Virginia Tech and then come in and get a big interception playing the field in a series against Virginia Tech. So that's his versatility. And because of that, I'm going to put Tariq Bracey at number 3 for me. The most
Tariq Bracey has a huge role from just a week-to-week basis. I think he's going to probably be the most challenged with the team's best offensive player each week, because they usually play in the slot. So that's a naturally tougher position. Each and every year is growing. But, him being in that position, I think is going to require him to be healthy, and that's the main thing. Like you said, if he's healthy,
he's going to perform. Yeah,
he's going to perform. If he can stay healthy through these tough games and through the season, then everybody else will develop and then fall in place in supporting that as well.
I'll keep it a buck, and I think you said this. The only thing that kept Sean Crawford from being special was injuries.
Yeah, because if he didn't get hurt his freshman year,
he didn't get hurt in the slot. Where did he start? He started in the slot.
Yeah, he was starting his freshman. He was nice.
Yes. He would have been special. That would have been your special guy as a defensive back that might have started the trend of guys wanting to come to Notre Dame at that position. So you have to keep your guys healthy. We do have the depth, and it's not like freshman depth. It's sophomore depth, junior depth that has been around. Now they have to come up and solidify the 1A, 1B thing Marcus Freeman talks about, be much better. But on the front end, I like C-Lou, Cam Hart, Tariq Bracey, Jaden Mickey. Like, if that's my best 4 right now, I can roll with that. And if we need to bring down Brandon Joseph for certain times, we can roll with that, because on the back end, you got Xavier Watts, Ramon Henderson, you got Houston Griffith, and DJ Brown has had a he's continued fantastic spring and has continued that trend into fall camp. He's been absolutely fantastic. And I know everybody's like, we hear DJ Brown, get it. He's making plays. He just shows up wherever the ball is.
Yeah.
He shows up.
That's right.
Here's a question. Xavier Watts is playing safety. He's playing safety.
Expect him to be in there somewhere.
Dude, I try to tell people all the time. We talked about this last night, and I want to get your thoughts. I was talking special teams last night with LL Nation, and I was pointing out how good Lorenzo Styles Jr. looked at punt return. And I was like, his value on offense, like, do you really – how many times per game do you want him returning a punt?
Yeah.
Is it clutch situations? Trying to get a big play to spark things? How many times? Because the other guys that have been back there have been Brandon Joseph, Jaden Mickey, Deion Cozy's took some reps back there. Tobias Merriweather as a freshman took some reps. Chris Salerno, Mr. Dependable, Mr. Faircatch.
They speaking high on Salerno now. They saying that's a guy y'all better watch out for in that slot is Salerno, behind Avery Davis and some guys. So don't be surprised if that becomes Tyler Buckner, Scotty Miller, like it was for Tom Brady.
Yeah, I can rock with that. But, special teams, that return game is going to have to be big. We know Chris Tyree and Jabron Payne, I believe, is getting a long look at kick return. Kick return was going to be so – I don't think people understand how ignorant kick return was going to be with Chris Tyree and Jadarian Price. I don't think people understand. Kick return was going to be ignorant with those two back there. Like, it doesn't matter, man, choose. You choose your death. How do you want to die? You go ahead and choose it. And now with the injury to Jadarian Price being out for the season, Chris Tyree would be the main guy, but Jabron Payne, who was a freshman, dude, I don't know how much he is deadlifting or squatting, but the dude has tree trunks as a true freshman. So it's going to be good to see him back there with Chris Tyree. That's pretty much been the case in practices. Some other guys have been back there as well. But Jabron Payne is getting a long look as a true freshman, returning
Ohio
kicker.
boys, don't sleep on the Ohio boys.
Here we go.
But the nation, I gotta sign off. I gotta catch this that Hollywood stuff y'all talking about. So.
There you go, Mr. Hollywood himself. Checking out. Don't forget us, man. Tomorrow, 10:30 a.m.
Yep, we got something for y'all.
Got something for you.
Yep.
So you go ahead. I'm gonna get to the petty train for folks.
That's right.
And we'll get out of here. All right, Lucky Lefty Podcast. As always, we thank you guys for joining us today. We talked about recruiting news, recruiting updates. Talked about Taishan. I just lost the name that quick. Excuse me, I'm looking for the petty train. We talked about the new 23 wide receiver coming to Notre Dame, possibly. Crystal ball, multiple publications recently. We talked about Ronan Hanafan. We talked about Jeremiah Love. And then we talked about our top 3 most important players, offensively and defensively, and went over the things that we talked about. If you missed the special teams show, go and watch it last night. Go and watch it from last night. We talked special teams and even more recruiting. You know what time it is.
Petticoat. Petticoat Junction.
It's time to get petty.
Oh, we did a good job executing.
Are you upset with something?
And fire up the Petticoat Junction train.
I just don't like you.
You don't?
No.
What is today's petty history? Petty Junction.
Right, Petty Junction, Petty Story of the Day. Brought to you by Onora Whisky, OnoraWhisky.com, that premium American whiskey, OnoraWhisky.com. And if you drink, make sure that you drink responsibly. Man, let me tell you something. The pettiness of the NFL. It continues. And I don't know if you guys happen to see this, but there was, and let me make sure I have this for, there it is. Check this out. I believe it was T. Boyd, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. They were on the pivot. And when they were on the pivot, Jamar Chase was talking about the chirpiest players, and he mentioned the Cleveland Browns secondary and how chirpy they were. And he mentioned Greg Newsome, the freshman, I mean, not the freshman, but the rookie cornerback, always talk trash. The Browns beat them twice last year, by the way. And here we go. This is Denzel Ward's response on his IG page.
Greg Newsome, I don't think he elite, but he definitely, they all just talk crazy. So it ain't somebody we circling. It's, yeah, we see them.
Tighten up for.
Even that, it's just no, it's game time when we see him. It ain't no crunch up game. It's on site. Like, yeah.
Definitely concerns me a little bit, you know what I mean? But, you know, I pack that thing too. So you come around this way, you will get caught.
Perrine is the running back. Fake it to him. Burrow has a target in sight, and it's stolen. It's stolen by Denzel Ward, who cuts back at the 40, and he may be going the distance. A full 100 yards to glory. Wow, what a great call.
Yo, that was mad petty. That was mad petty for him to respond with the 400-yard pick six on Jamar Chase down at the goal line after Jamar Chase said it's on site when we see him. I'm like, that's a great, yeah. That's a great comeback. So, man, that's one of the best, well-earned, petty tickets, right? One of the best tickets earned on the petty train. All right. So tomorrow, don't forget 10:30 a.m. Big announcement. Big announcement. We'll also be dropping some stuff on our social media page, and can't wait to see you. Don't be late because we're dropping the announcement at the start of the show. We're starting the show with the announcement, and we're gonna rock out. I'm super excited. Malik's super excited. And we'll let you know tomorrow, same time, 10:30 a.m. Have a great, great Thursday. And most of all, spend it different today. We'll see you.